many times have you been told no, and it felt like the end of the world? Whether it's a job, a relationship, or a goal you worked hard for, rejection can feel like hitting a wall. But what if I told you that no isn't the end? It's just the beginning. What if I told you that rejection, the thing we all hate, could actually be your secret weapon? Think about it. Every time you get a no, you're not losing, you're getting closer to success. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, mastered this mindset. He knew how to turn life's toughest setbacks into fuel for greatness. And today, I'm going to show you how to use reverse psychology and rejection to your favor with 13 powerful lessons from Stoicism. Ready to flip rejection on its head? All right, let's kick things off with a basic but powerful principle: acceptance. In Stoicism, one of the core ideas is to accept what is out of your control. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about not resisting reality. When someone rejects you, don't fight it or take it personally. Accept it as part of the natural flow of life. Instead of seeing no as a dead end, treat it like a detour that might lead you to a better path. When you accept rejection, you stop wasting energy on being angry or disappointed, and that's when real growth can begin. The first step in using rejection to your advantage is to accept the no. In many situations, rejection feels like failure. It's easy to take it personally, to let it chip away at your confidence. But from a Stoic perspective, rejection is not something to be feared or avoided. It's something to be understood and embraced. When Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. He was pointing out a key truth. What happens to you is not as important as how you respond to it. When someone tells you no, it's an external event, outside your control. What is within your control is your reaction to it. Instead of resisting rejection, accept it with grace. Each no is an opportunity to reassess, learn, and grow. When you accept rejection as part of the process, it no longer becomes a dead end, but a stepping stone. By accepting the no, you open yourself to possibilities that can only be seen once you've overcome the emotional sting of rejection. Rejection feels painful because of one thing: the ego. Stoicism teaches us to tame our egos, and Marcus Aurelius mastered this. He believed that much of our suffering comes from our ego-driven desires and expectations. When we're rejected, what hurts the most is our ego. That little voice saying, "I deserved better," or "How could they say no to me?" But here's the twist. Detach from the ego, and the pain fades. You realize that rejection is just another external event, not a reflection of your worth. One of the greatest obstacles to using rejection as a tool is the ego. The ego constantly seeks validation, approval, and recognition. When we face rejection, it's often our ego that reacts with hurt, anger, or self-doubt. But Stoic wisdom, as exemplified by Marcus Aurelius, teaches us to detach from the ego in order to see rejection for what it truly is: a neutral event. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears." The idea here is that the pain of rejection comes not from the rejection itself, but from how we perceive it through the lens of our ego. By detaching from the ego, you strip rejection of its emotional charge and can approach it with clarity and reason. The ego wants to protect itself from discomfort and criticism, but if you can rise above that need, rejection no longer feels like a personal attack. Instead, it becomes an objective experience that you can learn from. Detaching from ego means separating who you are from how others perceive you. By detaching from your ego, you allow yourself to grow without the weight of needing to be right or accepted all the time. Rejection becomes less about you and more about the journey you're on. Here's where reverse psychology really kicks in. When you're rejected, don't see it as rejection. Reframe it as redirection. What do I mean? If something didn't work out the way you wanted, perhaps it wasn't the best thing for you. The Stoics believed everything happens for a reason, and even rejection is part of that larger cosmic plan. So instead of saying, "I failed," try saying, "I'm being led to something better." Rejection is only as powerful as the meaning we attach to it. One of the most effective tools for transforming rejection into something beneficial is reframing, changing the way you interpret a negative situation. The Stoics believed that external events don't harm us. It's our judgments about them that cause us pain. By changing those judgments, you can shift your entire perspective on rejection. Marcus Aurelius put it best when he said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If rejection seems like a failure, it's because you've framed it that way. But what if you looked at rejection as a hidden opportunity, or as a sign that you're pushing boundaries and growing? Reframing is about taking control of the narrative. When you're told no, you have two choices: either see it as a closed door or reinterpret it as a necessary redirection to something better. Reframing turns rejection from a setback into a source of empowerment. When you master the power of reframing, rejection becomes a tool for growth rather than a source of frustration. It allows you to turn negative experiences into positive outcomes by simply changing how you view them. One of Marcus Aurelius' most famous ideas is the dichotomy of control, knowing what's within your power and what's not. You can't control whether someone says yes or no, but you can control your reaction to it. You can't control external events, but you can influence your internal state. So, when you're rejected, focus on what you can control: your mindset, your next move, and how you use the experience to improve. One of the most important lessons from Stoicism, especially from Marcus Aurelius, is understanding what's within your control and what's not. This idea is simple, but once you grasp it, it becomes life-changing. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in his Meditations that we must focus on what's within our power and let go of everything else. Rejection? That's something external. It doesn't reflect your worth, your ability, or your potential. It's simply an event in the world, like the weather or the tide. You can't control the waves, but you can control how you sail your ship. This shift in mindset is where reverse psychology comes in. Instead of obsessing over the no and feeling powerless, remind yourself, "I have influence over how I respond. I can learn from this, grow from this, and ultimately turn this rejection into an opportunity." You don't control whether someone says yes, but you have the power to make the next move. Whether that's trying again, pivoting to a new strategy, or letting go and moving forward, it's all up to you. Once you master this, rejection starts to lose its sting. It's no longer a personal attack, it's just part of the game. You can't control every outcome, but you can influence the process, and that's where your power truly lies. Here's a big mindset shift. See rejection as feedback, not failure. When you apply for a job and don't get it, or when someone doesn't respond to your message, it's not a brick wall, it's information. Maybe you need to sharpen your skills, improve your approach, or just try again later. Every no gives you the data you need to refine and become better. Marcus Aurelius would say that adversity is simply a way to practice virtue, to grow stronger. In Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to look at life's challenges as opportunities to practice virtue and grow. Rejection is no different. It's not a full stop, it's a signal. Maybe it's telling you that you need to sharpen your skills, change your strategy, or simply try again in a different way. Imagine applying for a job and getting rejected. Instead of feeling like you failed, ask yourself, What's the feedback here? Was there something in your resume that didn't stand out? Did you approach the interview with the wrong mindset? Or maybe, just maybe, the rejection is pointing you towards something better suited for you. The beauty of seeing rejection as feedback is that it takes the emotion out of it. It becomes less about, "I'm not good enough," and more about, "What can I learn from this?" That's the reverse psychology at play here. Instead of feeling defeated, you're using each rejection as a stepping stone toward improvement. Marcus Aurelius would have loved this idea because it aligns perfectly with the Stoic mindset. Use every obstacle as a tool for growth. Rejection becomes data, valuable information you can use to refine your approach, improve yourself, and get closer to success. This one might sound crazy, being grateful for rejection, but hear me out. The Stoics were all about practicing gratitude, even in tough times. Why? Because hardship, adversity, and yes, rejection are opportunities to develop resilience. When you're rejected, say, "Thank you. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the challenge. Thank you for making me stronger." Over time, you'll start to see rejection as a necessary part of your growth, not something to be avoided. Marcus Aurelius constantly emphasized the importance of gratitude, even for life's challenges. Why? Because every obstacle, including rejection, is a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When you get rejected, it's not just a door closing. It's the universe giving you a gift, an opportunity to reflect, improve, and redirect your energy. Think of it this way. Rejection is feedback, as we covered in the last lesson, but it's also a chance to be grateful for what you're learning in the process. Let's say you didn't get that job you wanted. Instead of focusing on the disappointment, shift your focus to what you gained from the experience. Did you learn how to handle an interview better? Did you gain clarity on what you truly want? Did it force you to reevaluate and maybe head in a direction that's better for you? By practicing gratitude in the face of rejection, you take control of the narrative. Instead of seeing it as a loss, you frame it as an essential part of your growth. This is where reverse psychology comes in. When you're grateful for rejection, it loses its power to hurt you. You turn it into a positive force in your life. Marcus Aurelius would say that by accepting and being thankful for what happens to us, even the tough stuff, we live in harmony with the natural flow of life. So, next time you're rejected, pause and say, "Thank you. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the chance to grow. And thank you for redirecting me to something even better." Gratitude shifts your mindset and makes rejection a tool for empowerment, not a source of pain. The more you practice this, the more you'll find that rejection is just another stepping stone on your path to success. Think of every rejection as a teacher. What is it trying to teach you? Maybe patience, persistence, or humility. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about how challenges reveal our true character. Rejection gives you the chance to learn more about yourself, your strengths, and what really matters to you. If you can embrace it as a teacher, it stops being a source of pain and becomes a source of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, often reflected on how obstacles reveal our true nature. When things go smoothly, we don't learn much. But when we're faced with challenges, like rejection, that's when we're forced to confront who we really are, how we handle adversity, and what we can improve. So here's the big question. What is rejection trying to teach you? Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's teaching you to be more persistent. Or maybe it's showing you a part of yourself you didn't even know existed. Every rejection is an opportunity to learn something valuable about yourself. How resilient you are, how adaptable you can be, and how much more potential you have than you thought. Think about a time you were rejected. Now, instead of focusing on the pain or frustration, ask yourself, What did I learn? Did I gain clarity on what I truly want? Did it push me to work harder, be more creative, or develop new skills? Did it force me to rethink my approach or my priorities? This is where Stoicism's brilliance shines. Marcus Aurelius would say that rejection isn't a setback, but rather an invitation to grow in wisdom and virtue. It teaches you to be humble, to accept the world as it is, and to keep pushing forward despite the challenges. In fact, the Stoics believed that every hardship is an opportunity to practice becoming the best version of ourselves. So the next time you face rejection, don't just endure it, embrace it. Treat it as a teacher that's offering you lessons in resilience, wisdom, and growth. The more you learn from rejection, the less you fear it, and the more you use it as a tool for your success. Rejection is a classroom. Every no is just another lesson waiting to be learned. So, instead of fearing it, welcome it, learn from it, and let it make you stronger. Here's a secret. Every time you get rejected, you're building a thicker skin. Emotional resilience is like a muscle. The more it gets tested, the stronger it becomes. Marcus Aurelius faced immense challenges as emperor, but he didn't crumble. Why? Because every obstacle made him more resilient. Emotional resilience is like a muscle. The more you face rejection, the stronger that muscle gets. Think of it like going to the gym. Every time you lift a weight, you're breaking down muscle fibers so they can grow back stronger. Rejection works the same way for your emotions. Every time you experience it, you're building your capacity to handle setbacks, disappointments, and challenges in life. Marcus Aurelius, who faced immense pressure as a Roman emperor, didn't let the weight of his responsibilities break him. Instead, he embraced hardship as a chance to practice patience, strength, and endurance. Every obstacle made him tougher, and rejection can do the same for you. Now, you might be thinking, how does rejection make me emotionally stronger? Here's the thing. Every time you get rejected and choose to keep moving forward, you're teaching your brain and heart that rejection is not the end of the world. You're training yourself to bounce back faster, to not take things so personally, and to develop a thick skin. Resilience isn't about avoiding rejection. It's about learning to rise again after you've been knocked down. It's about realizing that rejection doesn't define you or your worth. The Stoics believed that external events, like rejection, don't have power over us unless we let them. It's how we respond that matters. So how can you use rejection to build resilience? First, recognize that rejection is part of life. It's unavoidable, but it's also temporary. Second, every time you face rejection, ask yourself, how can I grow from this? Over time, you'll notice that what used to feel devastating now feels like just another bump in the road. Embrace rejection because it's making you emotionally stronger. With each no, you're training yourself to be more adaptable, more persistent, and more unshakable. And once you build that emotional resilience, there's nothing life can throw at you that you can't handle. So, when rejection comes knocking, don't run from it. Welcome it. Let it make you tougher, more resilient, and ready for whatever comes next. Because the more resilient you become, the closer you get to success. Once you've been rejected, what's the worst that could happen? The fear of rejection is often worse than the actual rejection. When you've already been turned down, you have less to lose, and this can be incredibly freeing. Marcus Aurelius believed that the fewer attachments we have, the freer we become. Think about it. One of the biggest reasons we fear rejection is because we're afraid of losing something, our pride, our status, or even our sense of self-worth. But once you've already heard no, that fear starts to fade away. You've already faced the worst possible outcome, and guess what? You survived. Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics were big on detachment. They believed that the less you're attached to external things, like approval, success, or material possessions, the freer you are. When you're not weighed down by the fear of loss, you become more courageous, more daring, and more willing to take risks. Let's break this down. Say you applied for a job and got rejected. That no stings, but it also removes the fear of what might happen if you try again. You've already been rejected once, so what's the worst that could happen if you try again? The fear that held you back before starts to lose its grip. This is where the power of reverse psychology comes in. Once you've been rejected, you can turn it into freedom. You're no longer afraid of losing because you've already faced the loss. And with that, freedom comes confidence, the confidence to try again, to go bolder, and to take even bigger swings at your goals. Marcus Aurelius would say that the fewer attachments we have, the less fear we carry. When you stop worrying about what rejection might take away from you, you become free to go after what you really want without hesitation. Rejection becomes liberating because once you realize there's nothing left to lose, you can focus all your energy on moving forward without holding back. This mindset shift opens doors. Imagine walking into situations with the attitude of, "What's the worst that can happen? I've been here before, and I'm stronger for it." It gives you the courage to take on new challenges without the fear of failure. So the next time you're rejected, don't dwell on what you've lost. Focus on what you've gained, the freedom to act without fear. Rejection has already stripped away the fear of losing, and with less to lose, you're free to push forward with even more confidence and determination. Rejection isn't the end of the road. It's the beginning of your fearless pursuit of success. One of the best things about rejection is that it helps you focus. Marcus Aurelius constantly advised focusing on what matters and letting go of distractions. Rejection forces you to refocus your time and energy. If one door closes, it's because you need to walk through another. Every no sharpens your path. It helps you get clearer about what you want and where you should be putting your efforts. Rejection can feel like a roadblock, but what if it's actually a signpost pointing you in a better direction? Marcus Aurelius believed that life's obstacles weren't meant to stop us. They were meant to redirect us toward the right path. Rejection is no different. It's not a dead end. It's a tool that helps you focus your energy on what truly matters. Think about it. When someone says no or a plan falls through, you suddenly gain clarity. It forces you to take a step back, reassess, and ask, where should I be putting my time and effort? Rejection cuts out the noise and shows you where not to waste your energy. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about focusing on what's essential and letting go of distractions. When you're rejected, it's like the universe narrowing down your options, making it clearer where your true priorities lie. Instead of spreading yourself too thin, rejection helps you hone in on the things that will bring the most value and growth. Let's put this into perspective. You apply for 5 different jobs, but only one company calls you back. Instead of feeling bad about the 4 rejections, take it as life saying, here's where your energy should go. Now, instead of juggling multiple paths, you're free to focus on the one that has the most potential. Rejection simplifies your life. It clears out the distractions and gives you a sharper focus. Imagine all the energy we waste chasing things that aren't meant for us. Rejection helps cut that out and steers us toward the opportunities that align with who we are and what we're meant to do. In Stoic terms, this is all about living in alignment with nature, meaning accepting the flow of events and focusing on what's within your control. Rejection is a form of feedback from life, telling you, this isn't your path, but there's another one waiting for you. By using rejection as a way to sharpen your focus, you conserve your energy for the things that matter most. You stop wasting time on doors that are closed and instead pour your effort into the ones that are open or waiting to be opened. So the next time you're faced with rejection, don't see it as a failure. See it as life's way of helping you focus your energy where it counts. By redirecting your efforts toward the right goals, you'll move faster and more efficiently toward your success. Rejection is a compass, not a roadblock. Stoicism teaches us that success is an internal measure, not an external one. Marcus Aurelius didn't measure success by how much praise or approval he received. He measured it by his own virtues, how well he acted according to his values. Rejection gives you the chance to redefine what success means for you. Instead of external validation, focus on how true you are to your principles. That's the ultimate success. In Stoicism, success isn't measured by outcomes, but by how well you act according to your values. External results are beyond your control, but your actions and mindset are always within your grasp. Rejection then becomes an opportunity to redefine what success truly means. Let's break it down. When you get rejected, society might tell you that you failed. But from a Stoic perspective, success is not in the outcome, it's in the effort. Did you give it your best shot? Did you stay true to your principles? Did you handle rejection with grace and resilience? If the answer is yes, then you've succeeded, regardless of the no you received. Here's where rejection becomes powerful. It forces you to redefine success on your own terms. Instead of measuring yourself by whether someone else accepts you or by external validation, you start to focus on what really matters: your personal growth, your integrity, and how much you learn from each experience. Imagine you're pursuing a goal and get rejected multiple times. Does that mean you're not successful? Absolutely not. If each rejection teaches you something new, makes you more persistent, or pushes you to refine your approach, you're already succeeding, because success is the process, not the outcome. Marcus Aurelius believed that true success is about how you live in accordance with virtue, not how much praise or validation you receive from others. Rejection, in a way, is a blessing. It strips away the superficial idea that success is about winning or being accepted. It reminds you that success is about how you grow, how you handle adversity, and how you move forward. So the next time rejection hits, don't let it make you feel like a failure. Instead, ask yourself, did I act with integrity? Did I learn something? Did I grow from this experience? If you can answer yes to those questions, then guess what? You're already successful. Rejection isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the journey to it. It redefines success in a way that's more aligned with your values, your growth, and your personal evolution. Once you've mastered accepting rejection, guess what? You become better at saying no yourself. Stoicism is about living in harmony with your true self, and that means having the courage to say no to things that don't serve you. When you can reject things that aren't aligned with your values, you protect your energy, time, and well-being. Rejection isn't just something that happens to you, it's something you can use to shape your life. Why is this important? Because not every opportunity, request, or relationship is meant for you. Learning to say no allows you to protect your time, energy, and mental well-being. When you say yes to everything, you spread yourself too thin and often end up compromising your values or diluting your focus. But when you start saying no to things that don't resonate with your true self, you create space for the things that matter most. This is where Stoicism comes in. Marcus Aurelius frequently spoke about the importance of self-discipline and staying true to what is essential. He reminds us that we are not obligated to say yes to every opportunity or request that comes our way. Just as we can't control what others say no to, we must also recognize that we have the power to set our own boundaries. When you say no, you're rejecting what doesn't align with your higher purpose. This could be declining an offer that doesn't fit your long-term goals, walking away from relationships that drain your energy, or simply setting limits on how much time you're willing to give to others. Here's the beauty of it. Every no you give is a yes to something greater. When you say no to distractions, you're saying yes to your focus. When you say no to negative influences, you're saying yes to protecting your peace of mind. This kind of rejection, the one you control, is essential for living a life of intention and purpose. Learning to say no is also about honoring your own worth. Marcus Aurelius believed that our most valuable resource is our inner self, our mind and spirit. If you constantly say yes to everything out of fear or obligation, you lose the freedom to nurture and protect that inner space. Saying no is an act of self-respect and self-care. So remember this: rejection is a two-way street. While learning to handle rejection from others is important, learning to reject what's not right for you is just as crucial. It's about setting boundaries, prioritizing your goals, and living in alignment with your values. Don't be afraid to say no. It's not about shutting out opportunities, it's about making room for the right ones. By mastering this, you'll find that you're not just handling rejection better, you're actively shaping your own path to success. Your no is powerful. Use it wisely. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, rejection is not the end. It's the beginning. Marcus Aurelius taught that adversity is the path to greatness. Rejection is just the first step on a new journey, one that could lead you to unexpected success. Every time you get rejected, you have the chance to start again, wiser, stronger, and more focused. Embrace it because it's often the start of something amazing. So there you have it, 13 lessons from Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism on how to use rejection to your favor. Remember, rejection is not your enemy. It's a powerful tool. The more you embrace it, the more you'll grow. And who knows? The next no might be the first step toward your greatest yes. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more insights like these. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay resilient, stay stoic.